everyone. I'm Sanichi with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. U.S. presidential candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have faced off in a fiery, fast-moving debate. Topics included everything from domestic issues, abortion, race and immigration, to trade and foreign policy. Joyceton recaps some key moments.
A consequential moment in the neck-and-neck race for the White House. Presidential candidates Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump meet for the first time to debate key issues in an election just 8 weeks away. Starting off with the economy, a top issue for American voters battling inflation since the pandemic. Trump pinning the blame on his Democratic opponent.
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world.
The former president claiming that should he win back the White House, China and other countries will face higher prices, not Americans, an approach economists warn could backfire and also prompt foreign governments to retaliate. Harris accused Trump of weakening Washington in a competition with Beijing for tech supremacy, pointing to his sale of American chips to China, which helped modernize the Chinese military.
A policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing.
On the sale of chips, Trump blamed Taiwan.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan.
It was a fast-moving, energized debate with combative moments, Trump reusing his border czar label for Harris to criticize her handling of the hot-button issue of immigration. Trump claiming immigrants are harming American life by doing things like eating pets.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
You talk about extreme.
On foreign policy, Trump and Harris addressed ongoing conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine, the former president insisting he could end Russia's war in 24 hours. Harris rebutted this, saying Trump could only do so because he would just give it up. Trump refused to say outright that he wants Ukraine to defeat Russian invaders, a troubling signal to U.S. allies across the world.
For allies and partners in Asia with time-honoured concerns about the consistency of US support, his refusal to do so undercuts some of the work that the Biden administration has done to date in building back confidence in the US's desire to show up for allies and partners and the consistency of that support.
For almost 2 hours, Harris went on the offensive, baiting Trump with comments known to get under his skin. Even Fox News, a traditionally conservative and Trump-friendly network, said that tonight she won. The network and the Harris campaign both said they want another face-off in October before voters hit the polls on November 5th. With the older and much criticized President Joe Biden having stepped back to let his vice president run for the top spot, Republican candidate Trump now faces a different, more energized rival in Harris as both campaigns kick into high gear for the final stretch. James Lin and Joyceton for TaiwanPlus.
Which candidate did better? To find out, Louise Watt spoke to Dennis Lu Chong-Wen, an associate professor at Sam Houston State University in Texas.
How do you think the debate went for both candidates?
For both candidates, I think they successfully defend their position, and more importantly, that they attract their specific supporter. So in today's debate, I think Trump maintained his usual style, continued with very negative campaigning to attack his opponent, Vice President Harris. It is clear that he is not particularly concerned about the accuracy of his statement, as his main strategy is to project strengths. In contrast, Harris take a different approach. Her performance was more conventional, which means she prepared well. She did everything people expect, and basically better than what people expected her to do. Trump continued attack forced Harris to respond and spend much of time responding the negative campaigning, negative strategy, leaving less room for Harris to discuss her policy. We will wait and see how the polls shows the performance, how the American public evaluate their performance later. But what I can tell is in this debate, Harris did pretty well and even better than what people expect.
That was Dennis Lu Chong-Wen from Sam Houston State University. The military says it's grounding its entire fleet of Mirage 2000 fighter jets after one of the aircraft crashed during a training exercise. The pilot is safe, but the accident is part of a string of incidents with the old aircraft, leading to a debate about whether the military should ditch the aiding fighters. Jaime Khan has the story.
First responders rushed to treat Air Force pilot Xie Peixun. Late on Tuesday, Xie was flying a Mirage 2000 fighter jet as part of a nighttime training exercise when the aircraft suffered a malfunction, forcing him to eject off Taiwan's northwest coast. President Lai Ching-te is visiting the hospital where the pilot is being treated, while the military tries to figure out what happened. Officials say it was most likely a power supply issue.
概略在晚间8点35分左右返场的过程，发现动力失效，那么人员随即弹射跳伞，那么国防部也立刻下令展开搜救的工作。
While the pilot is safe and recovering, questions are now being raised about how, just 20 minutes after takeoff, the plane lost power. Many observers say the incident could be due to the condition and maintenance of the aircraft. Taiwan received 60 Mirage 2000 fighters from France in 1997. All of them operate out of Hsinchu Air Base to protect the country's northern airspace. But France no longer produces the plane, which means spare parts and fuel to fly the aircraft are particularly expensive. In comparison, Taiwan's other fighter jets, the US-made F-16 and Taiwan's own IDF, cost $3,400 and $7,700 US per hour. But the Mirage costs more than $24,000 US in fuel per hour. But because of its quick takeoff ability, Taiwan still uses them to intercept Chinese planes flying close to Taiwan's borders.
所以在这种情况下，它扮演中华民国一个高度拦截机的角色，应对中共各种灰色地带的威胁。所以飞行员的负担是相对是比较辛苦的。这种情况就需要国人支持。未来在 F-16V Block 70陆续到达台湾服役之后。
Tuesday's incident is the 7th Mirage Taiwan has lost in an accident, which means more than 10% of the original fleet is gone. Taiwan scrambles fighter jets on almost a daily basis to warn off Chinese military aircraft that intentionally fly close to trigger a response. Many observers say that although these accidents can't be directly connected to China's rise in aggression, the situation does put strain on Taiwan's resources.
The fact is that because the Air Force is called upon to do so many of these intercept missions, and because there is this threat coming from China, so the pilots have to train that much more aggressively, that much more realistically. In essence, you're just creating the perfect set of conditions that's just going to make these accidents happen on a higher level of frequency.
Earlier this year, Taiwan said it would spend more than $320 million to continue maintaining its remaining Mirage fighter jets. But after Tuesday's incident, the military might need to reconsider whether it's worth ditching the aircraft and instead invest in more modern aircraft, ensuring that their pilots can continue carrying out their missions without worrying about their safety. Chris Ma and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
The U.S. state of Indiana has opened an office in Taipei. It joins over 20 other U.S. states that have representative offices in Taiwan, a number that has quadrupled over the last few years. A Taiwan official says the offices help the U.S. and Taiwan cooperate on economic issues. Indiana was the first U.S. state to establish sister state ties with Taiwan in 1979. Unions are worried about a court ruling they say could deal a huge blow to organized labor. They've gathered in Taipei to demand a swift decision that protects the right to strike. Don Van Triest has this report.
Outside the Judiciary Building in Taipei, union reps chant like their jobs depend on it. Some of their jobs may in fact be on the line. And they worry the future of organized labor could be under threat too. In 2021, the Labor Ministry gave the go-ahead for the union at the Miramar Golf Country Club to strike. But the golf course's corporate owners have since sued the union's members, arguing the strike was illegal. 3 years on, the case is still in legal limbo, even though the Supreme Court has ruled the strikers are owed over $180,000 for breach of contract. Those 3 years of uncertainty have weighed heavily on union leadership. They don't know when a final ruling may come, but if the courts favor their employers, they could pay a big price, even beyond having to pay the company damages.
一定会开除啊，因为司法挺他们的嘛，劳官都等着被宰而已啊，对吧？啊，武器都拔掉以后，台湾的劳工谁敢去争权利啊？
These protesters want the courts to make a swift ruling and in their favor, because they say a loss would have a chilling effect on unions. And labor activists here say this isn't an isolated incident. Members of EVA Air's union, who recently won their own dispute about the legality of a strike, are here in solidarity. One union rep here says challenging the legality of strikes, even if the government has approved them, is a favored way of keeping labor unrest contained.
我觉得是很普遍的问题。那因为这两个案子的另一方都是财团，都是很有资金雄厚的大财团，所以对他们来讲，花很多钱或请很多大律师，或者是让学者专家听他们的话，可能都不是难事，都不是难事。那所以站在我们身为劳工的这一方，去对抗一个这么大的猛兽。 他拥有一切资源的猛兽，甚至他可能会影响到政府对他的很多想法或看法。
Protesters say the courts haven't said when a ruling might come, but they hope that by keeping up pressure for a ruling in their favor, they'll not only get a few union leaders out of trouble, but also preserve their right to strike. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Vietnam's death toll from Typhoon Yagi has risen to 141, with 59 people reported missing. Authorities have ordered thousands of people in the capital Hanoi to evacuate as the city's Red River rises to its highest level in 16 years, posing a flood threat to schools, homes and businesses. Before hitting Vietnam, Yagi left 24 people dead across southern China and the Philippines. It's been the hottest summer ever. A new report shows that temperatures soared far above average across the globe, and now people are feeling the very human effects of climate change. Tiffany Wong reports.
Keeping out of the sun, people in Taiwan have been suffering all summer long as extreme temperatures hit the country, causing many to fall ill. The health ministry reported that hundreds of people sought treatment for heat-related illnesses this summer, with each month exceeding the previous year's report, and that trend is on track to continue in September. The heat is in line with global trends. According to the EU's Copernicus climate report, this summer marked the hottest year on record, with surface temperature anomalies even higher than in 2023, meaning that temperatures are rising far above the average. But the above-average heat is now a new normal, and people around the globe say they have no choice but to find ways to deal with it. Farmers in Japan risk their lives out in the summer heat to tend to their crops.
毎年暑さ更新しているような状況ですし、不安っていうのはやっぱりありますが、どうしても時期が決まっているものですので、やるべき時に暑くても何らかの対策して、外に出てやらないといけないので。
In Greece, wildfires blazed through forest land near the capital Athens, causing thousands to evacuate. Climate experts say hot weather and less rain have increased risks to humans and are reminding people that these risks, much like climate change, are caused firstly by the human impact on the environment.
We have created cities that might not be exactly in the right place and in the right type, and we keep dealing with the consequences.
And people will continue to feel the impacts on their daily lives as temperatures continue to rise, with no signs of relief in sight. Patrick Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out this wonder dog named Flocky, showing off his foot-volley skills in Rio de Janeiro that have made him an internet sensation in Brazil. I'm Sanishi, take care and see you next time.